With many new regulations looking to come in force this year, what will happen with regard to platforms? Multi-product, bespoke platforms, or off the shelf? That is the question. As if last year wasn't challenging enough and didn't have enough surprises and reasons for this industry to have very rapid evolutionary period and get past certain things such as regulatory matters and even more so, as we discussed last time, prime brokerage difficulties with curtailed credit access and liquidity shortage and so forth, as if that isn't enough to navigate past. 2017 started with the British Regulatory Authority, FCA, looking at how to change the way CFDs, which is a large core business for many OTC companies, are provided. So looking ahead to 2017, I often wonder what kind of platform changes, whether MT4 brokerages or ones with proprietary platforms are going to do to be able to drive forward a multi-product platform that avoids any of these particular things in future and diversifies itself more.
Well, I think that the regulations that have come forth with the FCA and SISEC regarding the treatment of client monies or even negative balances or the reduction in leverages. So the technologies, the companies are going to have to adopt their technologies to reduce leverages for these clients, and many of the brokers out there or people who are providing financial foreign exchange services, a lot of them rely exclusively on third-party technology.
They do indeed.
It's going to challenge these companies because they more have to sit in line and wait for the technology companies like MetaQuotes to adopt their systems to be able to be regulatory compliant. The companies that have their own proprietary technologies like Swissquote and IG and things like that, or even Oanda, who have their own technologies, don't rely a lot on third-party technologies, are able to adapt to these things.
That's for sure.
Much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at London, for example, which is where this particular directive landed on the lap of many of the large established CFD brokerages in London, most of them have got their own proprietary platform. Okay, this is the problem. It's very expensive to develop such a thing. CMC Markets, for example, recently spent $100 million just making the next generation platform. They already had for many, many years a proprietary platform. They just spent $100 million making the next generation one. Saxo Bank, Swissquote, Dukascopy, all of these, even ETX Capital, some of the smaller CFD firms have their own, but it's expensive business. Whereas going to MetaQuotes and getting a license costs you $75,000 nowadays for an MT5 license.
Yeah.
Again, that varies according to whether you're going for enterprise or basic level, but it's a fraction of the cost. However, you can't really develop a multi-product offering unless you invest and make your own, which gets around all of those regulatory difficulties.
True. And MetaQuotes is still going to be the most popular retail Forex platform.
Most certainly.
And will continue to be. But right now they're making a big push to migrate, get users to go to MT5.
Yes.
Which is great for companies who are offering the MetaTrader 5 platform versus the 4, because it increases the business scalability of the platform. MT4, there's a lot of constraints on it and so on. So, but
it also reduces the cost. Nowadays, if you're a brokerage with an office in Cyprus, an office in London, an office in Australia, you only need one server farm with MT5 for multi-site.
True.
So but that leads me on to thinking about something with regard to Cyprus. Many brokerages in Cyprus are MT4, pretty much all of them. They don't have their own proprietary platform, but that's kind of that's a growing area still.
True.
So I wonder what's going to happen to them.
If you offer an MT4 platform, it's the same pretty much. It's the same across every provider.
Yes.
Spreads might be different, leverages might be different. The services, the associated services that a broker provides, alongside with the MetaTrader, it makes the differentiator between the brokers. For example, with us, we're able to be more flexible with our clients and be able to adjust our platforms, to meet the clients' different needs, whether it's order types, whether it's product types, and different functionalities that the platform does have. So this is how we try to kind of diversify our platform offering. We you have to be in the retail space to have a MetaTrader. You have to offer, if you are going to be competitive in the retail space and amongst all the other providers, you need to have the MetaTrader platform.
You do indeed, yes.
But you can offer a different platform, and it's just, our platforms are I feel quite superior versus MetaTrader because of the flexibility and that we have on this platform for the user, but still we're going to have to. When it comes to regulatory changes, if we have to make any regulatory changes to our technologies, we'll be able to do it much faster onto our own platforms. And MetaQuotes, we have to wait for them to actually develop this.
There's another factor as well, which is future-proofing. If a bombshell gets dropped like it did by the FCA, brokers with their own technology can future-proof by developing diversified packages to avoid that and offer different product offerings, where it's very difficult if you're not master of your own destiny. So that's another factor that I would say is in the favour of those particular companies. Thank you very much for joining us. Ryan Nettles of Swissquote.
Thank you, Andrew.
See you soon.
See you.
I'm Andrew Sachs-McLeod, CEO of Finance Feeds. This is Dukascopy TV. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.